imagine what's happening in Miami right now? Those Miami Cubans are losing their everlasting mind because they're like, yay, Donald Trump said he's going to take us. And
No speak English.
No English? No English?
Que vine a Cuba hace poco a hacer, tú sabes, yo estoy tranquilo, papi, no problem, you know?
I need driver's license. I need driver's license.
No hay problema, bro, no hay problema.
Cuban Americans who want to be Caucasian Americans, y'all voted for this man, and now y'all people that y'all supposedly care about, and y'all pride for Cuba, and I'm Cuban, and y'all got, I don't want to see no more Cuban flags. I don't want to see no more Cuban flags in Florida. I don't want to.
And we vote for Donald Trump. Guys, and now that we are in the middle of the conflict with Iran, Cuban is becoming more relevant. Couple of days ago, the Orange Buffon say these exact words: I want to take Cuba. I want to take Cuba. So supposedly he want to take it for himself. You know, the Orange Buffon, he's all about money. He's all about his bottom line. That is money. He's just such a corrupt president. The only thing he can care is about money. And he just seeing dollar signs, peso signs everywhere. He decided to take Cuba. We can barely deal with the conflict in Iran, but now he wants to take Cuba. And yes, we've been waiting for this for a long time. You're gonna tell me in the comments, Jenny, but you know that this is something in the making. He's just been trying to take Cuba for a long time. But now the situation in the island is worsening every time. Russia tried to send help, and it was denied. Mexico sent aid to the island of Cuba like a couple weeks ago, and Mexico was able to help people in Cuba. But it's no garbage service. It's no any kind of service, garbage, electricity, all the regular sewers. The sewers are just coming out, okay, because they don't have, it is not a functioning government right now. Well, it wasn't that good before either, okay. But I'm not saying that the situation at the island as it was is any good. No, as it was is any good. No, I've said this right now. Yes, it's worse than what it was before. But here, okay, you guys have to watch this clip, okay, that I'm gonna put in here. That this guy, that he just tattooed Trump here, and he just got deported. He got deported, and he tattooed Trump. And this other one right here, they put the face of look at it. He put the face of Trump all over his neck, and now he's collecting funds for he can remove that tattoo. Do you guys forget about the lady that put Trump all over her forehead? Guys, stay towards the end because this video is gonna be really interesting. Please don't forget to drop a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Help us to support liberal media subscribing to my channel. And I wanted to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the people that send me super thanks, for all the people that send me Venmo, Cash App. And my eye is sick. If you guys see that my eye is completely red, I don't have pink eye. It's just it's so dry here in Las Vegas.
200,000 immigrant truck drivers will be losing their commercial driver's license once they expire. This comes under a new rule from the Department of Transportation. This policy bars asylum seekers, refugees, as well as childhood arrivals from renewing their commercial driver's license or obtaining a new commercial driver's license. Ever since that illegal driver unalived that family trying to do that U-turn on the interstate, it's been a target on their back. And then not to mention ICE and all the operations they've been doing, and truck drivers was just an easy target because they can just sit at the weigh stations and pick them off. The only thing that I have a problem with is the childhood arrivals, because Majority of those people been here their entire lives. They didn't have a choice in being brought over here. So I feel like that's a little unfair. They've been here their whole lives, but ever since that wreck, the Department of Transportation just been cracking down on immigrant drivers.
So Humpty Trumpty went on TV today and said, whether I free it, whether I take it, I can pretty much do whatever I want with it. And he was talking about Cuba. He said, and I quote, "They are a very weakened nation right now. Let's talk about why." Okay, so Cuba is a very weakened nation right now because they had two lifelines keeping them alive, and both of those lifelines are now gone. One being Venezuelan oil. Venezuela was sending them oil cheap, reliable, so they could keep the energy going, keeping the lights on. They're currently in a blackout. So after January 3rd, the United States Operation Absolute Resolve, they captured Maduro, and Venezuela was no longer able to continue sending oil to Cuba. Number two was Iran. Lifeline number two for Cuba was Iran. So when Iran was bombed, the financial and strategic support that they were giving Cuba had been cut off, because now they are having to send missiles and defense and the Strait of Hormuz in the ships and everything that's going on with that. So now they can no longer continue to support Cuba in the way that they were before. So in 60 days alone, the United States of America cut off two of Cuba's lifelines. So now they are without power, they are without oil, and they are without food. They are literally being starved to death. That is a tactic of warfare. So apparently, and I haven't seen anybody else really saying anything about this, but apparently the CSIS, which is the Center for Strategic and International Studies, said that they had been picking up signals, Chinese signals, all over Cuba. So the word going around is that China has spy bases in Cuba. I don't know. Don't quote me. I don't know. So the U.S. House of Homeland Security Committee thinks that Cuba has expanding military and spy bases all over Cuba, and that the Chinese Communist Party is spreading its little hooks into the United States. So they're all up in arms because they think the Chinese Communist Party is teaming up with Cuba to strategize against the United States. That's coming from the U.S. Congress. That's not coming from me, okay? I'm just telling y'all what they be saying. Then you got Russia. So Russia entered into a new intergovernmental agreement with Cuba in October of 2025. So Cuba has deep military ties and intelligence ties with Russia and China. And the US Congress is saying that there is a very visible shift to cyber and electronic warfare. So if Russia and China are both having military and spy operations, that's what the US House said, 90 miles away from the United States in Cuba, yeah, they're a little bit worried. So then we got Humpty Trumpty explaining exactly what he's doing in his own words. China wants to make a deal, and I think pretty soon we will either make a deal or we will do whatever we have to do. All right, so make a deal or do whatever we have to do. Well, he already did what he thought he had to do when it came to Venezuela by kidnapping their president or their leader, Maduro. And he did what he thought he had to do when he bombed Iran in the middle of negotiations for peace. And here you go talking about we gonna take Cuba, whether that means free or take it, and I'm gonna do whatever I want with it. Okay, so let's connect all of this together, right? We got Congo. Congo has the cobalt, and China controls the cobalt mines. 15 out of 19 of those mines. Sudan has the gold and has the Red Sea coastline. The UAE is funding the genocide that's happening to the Sudanese people. Iran has the Strait of Hormuz and has oil, which America has bombed under the direction of is not real. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserve on the planet, and America kidnapped their leader, their president. So then you have Cuba. Cuba has Chinese and Russian intelligence knocking on America's door, the United States' door. So what it really comes down to is this is not about freedom. This is not about democracy. This is not about communism. This is not a war on terror like they've been telling you since we were kids. This is basically about America realizing a little too late that China and Russia have been setting up shop in our own backyard. While America was busy bombing the Levant, the Middle East, China built spy bases in Cuba. While America was sanctioning Venezuela, Russia signed military cooperation deals with Cuba. While America was so focused on Ukraine, the Western Hemisphere was literally being repositioned completely. Now Trump is trying to clean it up all at once. He's trying to get his grips back on everything because everything is slipping out of America's hands. Remember, I told y'all this is all about who controls the resources, because who controls the resources controls the modern Western world, or the modern world, period. Gaza, Lebanon, Sudan, Congo, Iran, Venezuela, this is all one project. Resources, geography, power. And the people who always pay the price are the people who live on these lands. Now you see why he's doing what he's doing to Cuba. If you haven't connected the dots yet, go and watch my whole playlist where we bring all of this together, break it all down. And remember to go follow creators from these places who are speaking up and trying to make y'all understand and make us understand what's going on, because we all need to see how this all connects. This is one big project. This is one big plan. This was never a war on terror.
Don't you find this funny? How the same people keep telling us they hate kings and dictators, but somehow they always turn around back the same exact people they claim they hate. I'm talking about liberals. Right now, they're going to Cuba to help the communist regime. Yes, literally. They're going over there. All them rich, spoiled leftists that live in the suburb, born with silver spoons in their mouths, are going to Cuba trying to virtue signal, pretend they care about Cubans. But somehow, when Cubans were suffering under this communist regime, did you see any one of these spoiled leftists going up there and do anything about it? No, obviously not. Because they love communism. They back the communist regime. They're attacking Trump for trying to take down one of the most ruthless regimes since Adolf Hitler. I'm pretty sure they would back Adolf Hitler too. Because right now, they are rooting for Iranians to win the war against the United States. They want Iran to win the war. They keep making videos on TikTok or YouTube trying to tell us, yes, Iran is kicking America's ass. You see, we told you. But they forgot one important thing right here. If America loses the war against Iran, you won't be safe. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill all of us. Because in their eyes, you're still an American. It does not matter if you're rooting for them or not. They give a fuck about you. I don't know if someone should have told you that before you start rooting for one of the most vile dictators on planet Earth. But you should know this. None of this regime that you're rooting for care about you. If you end up going to Cuba right now and Cuban government sees you, they're going to kidnap you and hold you for leverage and tell Donald Trump, do this for us, otherwise your citizens die. Yes, they would definitely do. They don't care if you're there helping the regime trying to rise up. You're still a leverage to them because they know Trump will never allow one of their citizens to be killed. He's not Joe Biden that allowed multiple American citizens to be murdered and apologize to the killers. That's not him. He's definitely not Joe Biden that will allow Iran to build a nuclear bomb to exterminate us. Or maybe Obama giving Iran billions of dollars so they won't build any bombs. And they were building. Now we just found out they got missiles that can actually hit Europe. Europe thought they were safe, right? They thought this was Trump war. This is on Trump. Guess what? It's on Europe too. They bombed the UK base. Something that's far away from Iran, 4,000 kilometers away. You know what that means? They can bomb any European country how they want. They probably even can bomb United States. We don't know that yet. I'm pretty sure they got missiles that can hit America. They're going to show that later. But again, the point that I'm making here is, if you cannot speak one mouth, you hate dictator, and the other mouth says you love dictators. You're just being a hypocrite. No, this is why no one should take lefty serious, because they don't really stand for anything. They stand for the party line. That's it.
What? Just go back to Cuba. In due time, you will be American again. So go ahead and pack your bags and go back to Cuba. And here goes the shadow ban. Y'all see how the viewers go down when I start telling y'all what's going on. But this is how I feel. The Cuban people, Cuba is dark because of these Cubans in Florida, because of these Cubans who voted for this man, who thought it was real cute to vote for him. So I'm asking politely for the Cuban people that voted for this man, that thought that he was gonna bring real change to y'all world. How about y'all go back to Cuba and y'all go be in the dark, because that's what y'all did to those people over there. Y'all did that to those people over there. Them people in the dark because of y'all. Because y'all Cuban Americans who want to be Caucasian Americans, y'all voted for this man, and now y'all people that y'all supposedly care about, and y'all pride for Cuba, and I'm Cuban, and I don't want to see no more Cuban flags. I don't want to see no more Cuban flags in Florida. I don't want to see it. Take the Cuban flags off your car. put their Cuban flags in the trash, wherever you got to put it. I don't want to see no more Cuban flags because y'all betrayed those people. Now they over there living in the dark, struggling, ain't barely got nothing to eat because y'all decided that y'all was cute and that it was real cool for y'all to go vote for this man talking about Cuba is under communism. Cuba had free healthcare too. Cuba has free healthcare too. Y'all don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that. That's all I'm trying to tell you. These Cuban people, they voted for this man, and now he about to take their island. He said he gonna take the country. Take it. Do whatever I want to do with it. His exact words was like, I could do whatever I want to do with it. That don't sound like communism to y'all? Does that sound like communism to y'all?
English. Can you speak any English? No, don't speak no English.
Okay, so didn't speak English, he said. This trucker failed the test. He was taken out of service right away. He didn't know what the road signs meant. You might think, what's the big deal? They're just behind a big rig. Why do they need to speak English? What would you say to that?
Well, I would say, number one, it's the law. It's been the law for a long period of time. That it's a safety issue. If there was a crash or something like that, I would want to make sure that that driver would know how to respond, slow down for upcoming traffic or a crash that has happened ahead.
And that's what was most shocking to me, just that they didn't know what the road signs meant. Like, no U-turn, wrong way. Like, they didn't have a clue. And the troopers that we talked about here, Bill, for Highway Patrol said it's half of the truckers that come through their way stations that they say don't speak English. So it's something we're going to keep an eye on, Bill.
And at 60 miles an hour, it's could be the difference between life and death. Alexis, thank you.
Right.
North Florida, Alexis McAdams on that.
So inflation is already high. Gas prices are going through the roof because of the Iran war. And now the Trump administration had a brilliant idea. Let's remove 200,000 truck drivers from U.S. roads, because there's a new rule taking effect today on who can hold a commercial trucking driver's license in the United States. Under this new rule, you basically need to be a U.S. citizen, a green card holder, or someone on certain non-immigrant visas that allow you to legally work in the U.S. But here's who's getting pushed out: people with work permits. That includes DACA recipients, people who've been here almost their whole life, TPS holders, people who've been here for over a decade, asylum seekers, and others who have been legally working and driving trucks for years without any problems whatsoever. When their licenses expire, they can't renew them now, unless they become green card holders by then. So what happens when 200,000 drivers are off the roads? Less drivers means less trucks on the road. Good for traffic, but there's not enough trucks to move all the goods. So goods will move slower. And when goods move slower, shipping prices go up. And when shipping costs go up, everything gets more expensive. Food, clothes, electronics, pretty much anything that arrives on a truck. So here we are complaining about inflation, and we're taking 200,000 trucks off the road, all who are competing to move goods. It's already very expensive to live here. Basic economics. You don't have to be a genius to figure this one out.
Cubano se tatuó la cara de Trump y así lo deportaron y ahora se lo quiere quitar. ¿Y ustedes qué opinan?
I've seen a lot of discourse lately. A lot of people seem to have opinions about the people that brought humanitarian aid to Cuba a few days ago. And so, I thought it was pertinent to give a little history lesson. You see, Cuba has been under some sort of embargo from the United States since 1958. That's the year it started with an arms embargo under the Eisenhower administration. There was a guy by the name of Fidel Castro who was leading a group of revolutionaries to overthrow the dictator at the time, an authoritarian fascist by the name of Batista. And you see, the United States government did not like Castro very much and thought he was a massive threat. Why? Because he was a communist. During the time, Cuba had good relations with the Soviet Union. So once the United States cut off the sale of weapons to Cuba, they just went to the Soviets. They started buying their weapons from them. In 1960, Eisenhower said, okay, we're going to cut off your oil. No more oil shipments to Cuba. Castro said, all right, start getting oil from the Soviets. And so on and so forth. And the United States embargoes and restrictions against Cuba just continued progressively graduating in intensity. It got to the point where it was a full trade embargo against Cuba, and really the only things allowed in were food and medicine, essentially. Not to mention, during this time period, at the tail end of Eisenhower transitioning into early JFK, the CIA was regularly carrying out terrorist attacks on the Cuban island against the Cuban people. In April of 1961, JFK authorized the Bay of Pigs invasion, which was a combination of United States forces and Cuban exiles that were anti-Castro. The invasion failed miserably. Castro and the Cubans kicked their ass. Later that same very year, in what's known as the Cuban Project, in November of that year, the United States continued to launch a series of terrorist attacks targeting military equipment, officials, and just civilians. So let's fast forward to modern day. At the tail end of January of this year, Trump signed an executive order that said any country that exports oil to Cuba will get hit hard with tariffs. So it was essentially a blockade because other countries are like, okay, well, I'm not paying this crazy tariff, or Cuba's not paying the tariff. Nobody's paying the tariff. That's stupid. So it essentially halted oil from coming into Cuba, which now leads us to modern day, where a few days ago, people were delivering humanitarian aid, solar panels, food, medicine. And it's just crazy to me that, given all that context and history, including the modern day embargoes and sanctions, who the fuck would be opposed to that? And who the fuck would even criticize that? Anybody in any country who is a part of sending goods and services to the Cuban people right now is a fucking hero in my book. Cuban people are dying in their hospitals because they don't have enough oil to run their electricity. So they have to unplug a lot of their ventilators at night. And a lot of those patients are just straight up dying. And this is all the fault of the United States government, by the way. So I just really need people to fucking educate themselves. It's insane.
I flew to Cuba during a nationwide power blackout and amidst talks of the United States taking it over, because I want to see the side of the country the rest of the world doesn't get to see, the people. Yesterday I learned that it's common for buildings to collapse suddenly because of improper upkeep.
What is this, bro? You know what this looks like? This looks like, I'm gonna just say it. There are ruins of Rome that are better upkeep than this. This is embarrassing. Like, really, think about it. Like, you go and you look at the Colosseum, had held up better than this.
And today, I'm going to see what it looks like when somebody has no other option but to call one of these abandoned buildings their home. On our way, a lady invited us inside of an old building. She's a teacher.
So this is a first grade. There's a teacher, but wait, is this a school, a classroom, or a jail?
Classroom. At first glance, everything seemed normal, until we saw what was being taught. Everything pointed back to the same place, the same people, the same ideas.
This is all America's fault, by the way. America causes them to do this. Yes. Nothing to eat? We only have pesos? Oh my god.
We saw the same thing again later.
Yeah.
Bookstores, libraries, shelf after shelf, telling one version of the story. Even fiction books must take place in communist or socialist worlds. We thought this was very odd. Eventually, we found this.
See, this is the problem that a lot of people never discuss, is that why is it that they need this much control and propaganda and force of, like, ideology? And they force their ideology inside of the vacuum of information, and they don't let anything else in it. The reason why is that they are a hostile occupation. This is not created by a consensus of the people. This is not created for the best interest of the people. That's the reason why they don't allow anything else to criticize them or to go against them.
Skeleton of a building, completely fallen in on itself. This man is a part of one of the 9 families that live in the ruins of this building. That
9 families live in this? Oh my god.
Just one. His space is modest. Just
oh, what a shithole. God, that sucks. He doesn't even have a computer.
Enough room for him and his wife.
Holy
fuck.
fuck.
Sick for a month with a cough. Of course, there was no
cough for a month.
Electricity.
He was explaining to me that every time it rains, water seeps through and pools on the floor.
Oh my god.
There's a certain sense of beauty in this community, one that's shadowed by commiseration. And in my video tomorrow, we'll talk to a tobacco farmer who gives 90% of his crop to the government.
We can't complain.
Like, you're not allowed to complain.
Yeah. You can't complain. You're not allowed to complain.
I think I just failed a test. My Latino neighbor, who was one of the few people in my neighborhood to have Trump signs out, just passed by me as I was working in my front yard. And he's always very friendly. He's a very nice guy, very sweet, nice guy. But we've never talked politics, ever, ever, ever. But I think he knows where I stand. He's not on social media, but most of our other neighbors are that he hangs out with. And he compliments me on what a hard worker I am, because I'm always working in my yard and doing projects and whatever. And then surprised me with, man, that guy in office is coming on hard. I never expected him to come on so hard for these people. His people, our people. He didn't expect him to come on hard on people. So I said, I did. And that's what's frustrating for us. Those of us who knew, those of us who've known for decades, what he did to those kids in New York calling for the death penalty, we knew. We knew he was cruel and selfish. And the only thing he cares about is money and power. So it's really frustrating for us that other people didn't see it, and we all have to deal with it. So my conventional Anglo-Saxon Midwestern background would have told me to be more gracious, to have grace for him at having awareness that he fucked up. But I didn't. And he just said, well, I didn't see it coming. I didn't expect it. How did you not expect it? How is it that the rest of us saw it, saw the signs, and you didn't? And then he told me to have a nice day.
This is some breaking news. Cuba's power grid has just experienced a complete collapse due to Donald Trump cutting off oil to the country. This means that schools are shutting down, children are going hungry, desalination of water is failing, and foodborne illness is spreading. Trump is causing a humanitarian crisis in Cuba. Spread the word.
There is a humanitarian crisis happening in Cuba as we speak. There's no fuel. There's no electricity as we speak. There is a humanitarian crisis happening in Cuba as we speak. There's no fuel. There's no electricity. There's no trash pickup. Trash is piling up on the streets, meaning disease could start to spread at any moment. The hospitals are not running at their capacity. They don't have staff that is showing up due to the working conditions, and some just can't get there because there's no fuel. There's a blockade happening by our government. And the Cubans for Trump, I have to ask, are y'all cool? Are y'all okay with what's happening? Because as I recall, just a couple of weeks ago, y'all were at Mar-a-Lago partying it up, enjoying yourselves, having a ball while this was happening. It's not funny because famine will begin to happen real soon. No water in a lot of places already. Are y'all cool? It's sad what's going on. And there's no humanitarian aid going there. They're blocking all of that. They block Russian ships. Canada is still debating whether or not they're going to assist, if they can. No aid. Make sure, you Cubans for Trump, make sure y'all tell y'all people that this is what you voted for. See, racism is expensive, not just monetarily, but as you can see, humanitarily as well. Don't forget to tell them. I really pray and hope that something happens soon, because nobody wants to see another G-side happen. But this is what you voted for.
And it is exactly 92 degrees in Vegas, okay? It is really dry. That's why my eye is like this. It affects me sometimes when it comes in the beginning of the summertime. It's like my body is getting used to the heat and the dryness, and it hits me in my eyes. Yes, guys, and what do you guys think of the situation in the island of Cuba? What do you guys think of the situation? Because this is the thing, not having the driver's license, the majority of the Cubans in Miami, a big percentage of the Cubans in Miami, they are truck drivers. And this situation of the truck drivers or being stopped by the police and they are not speaking English, and being their driver's license being completely suspended, is something that is going to affect the Miami Cubans the most. Because in Miami, you don't have no need to speak English. I think you still have the need to speak English. But nobody speaks English in Miami, and it's no needed as it is in other states. So the Miami Cubans, the ones that had the DLC license, the commercial license, that's what they do. It's a big percentage, it's like 20-30% of Miami Cubans in Miami. That's what they do. They are truck drivers. Now the police stop them, they don't speak English, and they can suspend their license. 200,000 truck drivers are about to lose their license because they don't speak English. And it's truck drivers from everywhere, okay? It's just not only the Hispanics, it's not only the Cubans, some from other countries, and they are about to lose their license. And I just don't think like the argument that they are making. I understand that people need to speak English. We are in the United States. It's an English-speaking country. I get that. But the transit signs, they are pretty much the same in all the countries. They are the same. They are exactly the same. They may be like, for example, the stop sign, instead of say stop, it say pare in Spanish, but they have the same shape. Everybody know what it is. Maybe in different countries gonna say different things, but we all know what it is. It had exactly the same shape and exactly the same color in all the countries. So saying that because they don't speak English, they will not be able to recognize the signs, the traffic signs, is ridiculous. Because the transit signs, they are the same in everywhere. They did it the same for a reason. For we all can go to any country and drive without problem. That's the reason why they did it the same. It is easy to understand. I think this is another one of the orange buffon being racist, and the Miami Cuban having their FAFO moment because they voted for this. They voted for this. It's thousands of truck drivers and are about to lose their license, and they voted for the orange buffon. The biggest FAFO movement. And on the top of that, the Cubans, okay, they're the ones that are resident, United States residents, the ones that have their papers in parole, the ones that have all kinds of the immigration situations are getting deported. And the situation in the island of Cuba is not getting any better by the day. Yes, I know the Cubans, they want to leave this regime behind, the regime of Fidel. But at the same time, the way that we are doing it as it is now is putting a lot of suffering in the people. And the United States is not doing any kind of intervention like they did in Venezuela to remove the government. On the top of that, in Venezuela, it wasn't a change of regime. They just only changed the person that was in power. And I feel like in the situation of Cuba, they're just gonna do exactly the same thing. They're just gonna keep the same regime for a regime that is more friendly towards the United States, where they can just go and build their hotels and their things. We have to also remember the island of Cuba is beautiful. It is beautiful. It's been so many years without maintenance. It looks looks really destroyed as it is right now. And the amount of garbage in the island is just, it's just atrocious. But guys, what do you guys think about this fateful moment for the Cubans? How they are just how they tattooing themselves Trump, 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 and then they are getting deported. How they thought that they control everybody else and they didn't even make the minimum effort to speak English. How they thought that they're gonna go and vote against everybody else's right and wait for the rights to be respected. This is the perfect fateful moment. That's what I always cover the Miami Cubans, because they believe somehow they were superior. They believe somehow they were special, okay? And have been proven that they are not. They are not special. They had nothing that make them special. And now they are paying and suffering the consequences. So guys, don't forget to activate the notification bell. That way you don't miss any videos. And you guys take care of yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye.